So how the marble book came about was I had a photographer friend who loved to take pictures of marbles. And I thought, well, that's great. So I had a collection of marbles. So at the time, this is about 14 years ago, I was feeling so much stress. There was so much going wrong in my life. I wasn't sleeping. Everything, Pace was like a 14-year-old, and it was awful, awful, awful. You just want to give them back, you know. And I felt like I had no time to myself. I had no time to do the things I'd been trained for, that I loved, that I was passionate about. So I decided that an exercise that would be really great for me would be to take just a little jar or a cup or anything, put it somewhere that I often go, and every time I spent an hour doing something that I really enjoyed or that really made me feel I was moving along in my life, I would put a marble in the jar. And my goal was to have one a day. And I didn't get one in the first week, so I had to really practice. And then eventually my goal was to have at least 4 a day. And I really didn't achieve that goal until like yesterday. So we're there now, and we're going to keep working. So what are some of the things that keep us from being our true happy selves? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. My number one is anger. That definitely keeps me from being my true happy self. Anybody else? What else? Resentment. Oh, excellent. Yes. Okay, another one? Workload, yes. Now, is that workload workload or home workload? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Check, check. Okay, good. What else do you guys battle with? Time, huge one, huge. Worry, yes. I love this. This is all like right on the tip of your tongues, huh? Good, very good. Anything else? Fear. Exhaustion. You're doing more than I did. This is really good. You're doing ones I didn't think of. Anything else? Grief. We are traumatized. I mean, it's kind of stunning to me that we are dealing with what we're dealing with in our homes, but we're also dealing with what's happening in the world. And I don't know about you, but I was already feeling isolated, and I kind of actually know how to do that really well. So I think I survived the pandemic better than a lot of people because I was already alone, you know, in a way. I also thought that the pandemic really exacerbated everybody's family relationships, you know, that we couldn't gather and we couldn't get that support. So that was hard. So kudos to all of you in this room for getting through the pandemic. We're still working through it, but we've made a lot of headway, and I'm very, very proud of you. Okay, so let's go to the next one. What can we do to combat some of these feelings? How can we gather our own strength that we already have within us to lessen the hold these things have on us? So one thing that's really available, and it's free, is you can breathe. As Mary Margaret showed us so beautifully, you can breathe to great effect, and it will really help. I find a lot of times also with our son that when he's really feeling angry and aggressive or frustrated, I notice that he stops breathing. So the first thing we taught him to do as a tiny child was to squeeze his own hands together. Everybody try this. See what you think. Squeeze your hands together, just nice and firm, and keep taking deep breaths. Because it kept him from lashing out, hitting things, punching things. If he directed his energy back into his own hands, it has a weird, eerie way of calming him. And he does it to this day. So breathing, for sure, remember to breathe. Next. Accept. This could take a very long time, or it could take tomorrow. I think the exercise would be to constantly remember that you already have everything you need. I mean, if you're alive, okay. Yeah, got to be alive. But you do have everything you need, and obviously you have more than you know. And that's why it's so important. The encouragement aspect is so important for people to reflect back to you. Be a marble reflecting back to the other marble how really stunning and amazing that person is. And hopefully they'll tell you the same thing. Love, forgive. How many people hold a grudge against somebody else? How many of you are mad at somebody who really did not support you? How many of you are mad at your child? It happens. I get furious with him. I get furious with Mary sometimes. It's normal. It's okay. How many of you are really, really enraged and disappointed with yourselves? Okay, well, we're going to release that. We are going to let you off the hook. We are going to forgive ourselves first. Because nothing happens if you're holding the good like this, like I don't deserve it. It's not going to come to you. But if you say, look, I really messed up this morning. I'm really sorry. I did this. Chances are the person with you is going to say, oh my gosh, how can you keep it together at all? And then finding the flip side, like we talked about earlier, like there's always an opportunity in every single mistake. There's an opportunity to grow. There's an opportunity to know yourself better. There's an opportunity to find grace from other people. Other people love to forgive you. Other people love to say, oh my gosh, that's okay. If I was handling everything you're handling, I would be like way worse. And it feels good to help each other in that way. And be willing to take all that too.
The next step.
Yep. What would be the next step? The next step might be you're lying in bed and you're going, oh boy. You're trying to wake up and you say, here comes another day. And you might add a little swear word in there. Here comes another day. And you have 2 feet. You can get out of your bed, and one foot can say thank, and the other one can say you. Thank you for opening your eyes. Thank you for breathing. Thank you for waking up. Thank you for getting out of bed. Every little step is worthy of acknowledgement. And if you go through your entire day taking the next step saying thank you, you managed to do that. You managed to make lunch in a beautiful way. You managed to make your bed today. All these little gestures that become habits. If you become really used to thanking yourself, that gratitude is just automatic. And then you can extend it to people outside of your circle and just be very, very aware of how people love to be acknowledged. They want you to notice that they did something good. And half the time, we got our heads down, we're changing the diaper, we're like trying to find, we're doing the throw up is going everywhere, it's just like it's like a circus most of the days. But if you can stop and just make it a habit to thank yourself, thank your child, thank whoever's close to you, thank the person who helps you in the grocery store, just whoever is a grace in your life, thank them. Make sure they know that you appreciate. Okay, so we did a bunch of this already, so we're pretty good at this, and I think...
I'm going to find options for other ideas.
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so you guys see what I've written. What are some of your coping skills? What are some of the things that you do to make yourself back on track? I'm open to your ideas, because I want to learn here, too.
Self-care. I don't get that often, but...
Yeah. That's wonderful. And what does that look like for you?
It might be going to the grocery store by myself. That's usually what it looks like.
I totally get that.
By myself and just go grocery.
I totally get that. Do you ever go to the bathroom just to be alone? I love it. I did not expect that from you. I love that. That is so good. Okay, good. We're getting hot here. Are you writing that down? Bathroom by yourself? Okay, thank you. Okay. What's that now? Writing, yes. And what do you write? Is it a way to vent or is it a way to feel calmer? Yeah, that works a lot for me. Yeah, exactly. Well, we're going to do just a tiny little bit of writing at the end, and thank you for that. That's really good. That's my happy place too, because when I'm writing a play, I can make the world exactly as I want it, and I can make everybody say exactly what I want them to say, and the events that are happening, it's all in my control. And then I come back to the world, and there is very little in control. But you're right. It's a great way to seize and center your happy place, and it is so cheap. And you can do it when you're 95 and in your pajamas. That's wonderful. Thank you. Anything else? I have a little thing that I say. I guess it's more like just a conversation with God that I just say probably 100 times a day. And I just say, everything is in divine order and my needs are fully met. Now that leaves God with a whole lot of room. If you say everything's in divine order, like divine order was me sending that email to 100 people that I shouldn't have sent. Because if you believe that divine order is everywhere for the good things, it's also there for the mistakes that are leading you to doors and places that you never thought you would ever open. Like you make a horrible mistake or whatever, that's divine order. And it's giving you exactly what your path is supposed to be, right? And then to say your needs are fully met, to me, that leaves it wide open too. Like it could be that I have a really good egg McMuffin. I mean, a super good one. Maybe two. That time that they give you two, that could be it. My needs are fully met. Doesn't have to be like, I'm on Broadway. My husband's like a gorgeous 6'4" man. He's like, and adorable. Yes. Changes the mood instantly, right? Yeah, it's like a switch. Yeah. Do you also sing or play? Even better. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Can we find you anywhere?
Yes.
Where? Oh, great. What's your name?
Seth.
Seth.
Ian. Hi, Ian.
Thank you. Noted? Thank you. Okay, great. All right, so that's a fabulous list. I love it. Anything else before we leave this? Travel. Oh, yeah. Where do you travel? Exactly. Yeah. Like a change of scene. People don't know you. Yeah, that's good.
I'll piggyback on that. I mean, in your head too. Just
Yeah.
I like the
These are great.
Let's get the Google out and let's look at Dublin, Ireland pictures and just see the world that way.
I love that. That's really good. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, I think we can move on. Yeah. Okay.
Love it.
Oh, also the last one on my list was rest when you can, and that's related to the bathroom one. Like anytime you can sit down, just find it, Okay. Don, I bet you remember this child.
I love that little child.
Yeah, all of the slides are children who have been through Friends of Tennessee's Babies with Special Needs, and this one is probably about 20 years old, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's okay. Like, does anybody cry? Do any of you ever cry?
Medication will limit.
Well, it's okay to cry. It's also okay just to feel really bad. I honestly think that if we don't stop ourselves once in a while and just take a moment for ourselves to just feel really bad, you're denying your whole human experience. It's kind of like there is no need to be brave and soldier on sometimes. It's counterproductive because it will only cause you to stay further behind on your steps forward. Because if you don't acknowledge, like, why you're sad and that you're really sad, no one can help you, and you can't help you. It's really good, though, to let it take its course and then go ahead and dry your eyes and then do that next thing. Like I said, it doesn't have to be big. It could just be putting on some hand cream and then going out into the world.
And thank you.
Yeah. Right. So it took me a really long time to acknowledge that probably our family member with special needs is hard for outside people to love. He kicked, he hit, he bit, he did all the aggressive things that sometimes a nonverbal child with autism will do. We wrote a whole book about how his classmates didn't care about that. His kindergarten classmates wanted to be his friend. They admired him. He went to kindergarten reading, for instance, and they thought, my gosh, he's an amazing person. He can read already a whole book. And yet they said, I want to treat him like the way I want to be treated. And this is a 5-year-old saying this. And I want him to be the kind of person he wants to be. So I think that was like wisdom from a child that I realized, oh, right, I'm not fixing this child. I'm not here to negate who he is and what he brings to the world. I'm just here to help him do it a little more peacefully and with more effectiveness. So the first thing I always used to do when anybody new met our family or met our child, I would just immediately say 3 things that I thought were fantastic about him. I'd say, look at his hair. His red hair is so beautiful. It's like a copper penny, isn't it? And get them to focus on his beautiful red hair. I would say, look how strongly he walks, how he moves through the world so confidently. He has a skill of meeting things with strength. And like that. And then immediately we focus, we put the lens on our child of appreciation and love. Because I also experienced going into rooms with people where I would have him like clutching him, hoping he wouldn't hit anybody or do anything bad or, grab candy from some kid or whatever, bash somebody with a truck. I was always like trying to manage his behavior instead of allowing him to enter the space and be who he was in that space safely. It's hard. I'm not saying it was easy. But to just change your thinking, like, this is not someone I'm hiding away. This is not somebody I'm embarrassed about. This is not somebody who's going to wreck my life because he's going to make a scene. This is somebody who has a right to be in this place. Let's just find a way to bridge the gap with people by kind of leading them. You're kind of actually instructing them in a gentle way. You're just instructing them, don't be scared. He's this tall, you're this tall, don't be scared of him, right? And even today, people really love him, even though they don't speak words to each other, and they don't like say, well, where are you from, and what do you like to do, and all that kind of stuff. They're just with him, present with him, and they might be in silence even, and they love to be in his presence because they get who he is. So I'm hoping that happens for you guys down the road. I know it's hard right now. It feels really weird right now. But you'll get better at it. I promise you'll get better at it. Oh, good. So suggestions for how to love someone?
Oh, yeah, how to find that.
Okay.
Focus on something.
I like that.
To love or to thank your child for.
You see, this is very collaborative. And I have not written one play that this child has not taken a pencil to and given me all of her thoughts. No, it's good. No, it's good. It's good. Okay, so we invite you to tell us maybe some strategies you might have about how you can love your child more.
Get involved in what they like.
Yeah.
Get down on their level.
Yep. The whole marble thing, like having Pace help me with the marble stuff, that came from the very typical autistic trait of lining things up. I have used his OCD to my advantage so many times. He is a great toothbrusher. Once he gets started on anything, he cannot stop. So all of his self-care is based on the fact that he has OCD and he's going to shave every bit and he's going to brush his teeth and keep everything real neat. He has a beautiful mapping ability, so he knows everywhere we've been and how to get there. He remembers every single thing that's ever happened in his life, including what people have done to him. And so he is very opinionated about entering certain spaces with certain people, and I am always able to tell who was nice to him and who wasn't, because he's very eloquent in his ability to show me that. But yes, get down on his level. Pace loves to read. And the weird thing is, for a kid who doesn't talk, if you write it out, he can say it. In other words, there's another part of your brain that deals with music and also deals with things that are concrete. Like, he's very white and black about that. It's like, if I want him to do something, I write it out and I just give it to him, and it's no big deal. Like, I don't go like, here, honey, here's what we're doing. I just go like, here, Pace, this is what we're doing. Okay, read it and tell me if you have any problems with it, and that kind of thing. And it works, because he's a huge reader. Like the kid in kindergarten said, the kid can read, and you're right. Okay, what else?
I found a lot of freedom when I stopped trying to understand all the tics, all the different things, and just accepted my child.
Love that. Have you tried the tics yourself? Because sometimes, like, I didn't understand what this did for him. I was like, why is that so great? And then you do it and it feels like really terrific, So I love it.
I did try swimming in traffic once and it was terrible.
Yeah, no, that's not good. But yes. And he also is like a genius about songs. Like, he remembers every lyric. That's another, like, the music thing goes through his brain in a different way. So he has a passion about music. So now, and we're going to get you on this, he makes music mixes. He puts together, what do you call them now?
That's fine.
Playlist? Yes. Playlist. Okay. So he's got 82 of them, and there's 20 on each one. And he's only done this like in the last year, and I don't know how he does it, but he like puts them together. So now I've been going like, hey, you want to do like a playlist for your hair cutter? Like, what would you do for Elliot? And the kid puts it together, and it's bizarre. It's like perfect for Elliot, And I'm like thinking, this is a way in. We found a passion that he has, and we're going in, and we're like learning. So yes, you are correct. Yeah. Anything else? Okay.
I have a couple.
Okay.
Just inspiration. I think Pace's smile.
Oh,
I think
yes.
the fact that these beautiful kids are so honest with how they are in the world and how they're feeling, and you always know if you're good and you know if you're not good.
That's true.
I think that's a gift. So I'll put that.
Yeah, they can't. They don't lie. There's no deception. Like, I don't know anybody else like that. So yes, very, very, very good. Mm-hmm. And when he smiles, it's like people's hearts melt, because they didn't think he had real emotions or something, and then he suddenly smiles or laughs. His laugh is such a belly laugh too, right? Okay. And then again, just if we could find ways to habitually release the automatic response of, you're ruining my life. You have just made everything so much harder. So what? Yeah, and so what? Because who knows, if we didn't have these kids, what would have happened? Right.
So I think if there's
I'm sorry. Do you have a contribution?
One thing to release the hurts, is to write it on a piece of paper and roll it in a ball and hold it tightly in your hand and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze until your hand starts to hurt. Then put it over a garbage can and release.
That's
And it
really
makes
good.
so much difference.
Yeah.
We're holding on to it. I had a friend who used to tell me, why are you letting certain people live rent-free in your brain?
Yes.
I love that.
Yes, yes.
It's funny you bring that up.
Yeah, oddly enough, we're thinking along the same lines. I like your squeeze, though. I think that's really good. I'm more of a tear-it-up person, but I love the squeeze. So that's good because you're really feeling it. I guess what you're doing with that is you're really, really feeling it and,
Right.
and knowing it and absorbing it, and then I love it. I love it. So yes, so are we to this part of the program, Mary?
Forgiving right now.
Okay. So we're going to forgive somebody right now? Okay.
With our index cards.
Okay, great. Okay, so Mary's passing out some index cards. We're going to do just a couple of things with the index cards. This is the make and take part of the program. I always like to have people create their own thing that they're bringing home with them because it's very authentic then. It didn't come from me, but it came from you. Thank you, Teresa. Okay, Shira, your flowers are gorgeous. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so on the index card, I would like you to write down, and you do not have to share this. This is not a public confession at all. Please, it's just for you. Just write down someone who is like this really big storm cloud in your life. Somebody. Oh, it's for, is this one? Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go with the one I just said, though, Mary. Okay, so somebody who's really gets in your way, makes you angry, does not appreciate what you're doing. It could be a relative. It could be an old friend who suddenly doesn't understand you. It could be your spouse. Has everybody got that person in mind? Okay. So go ahead and write it down. When we first were kind of putting together our therapy and everything, and we were working with TEIS, and we had, that limited amount of time, that window of time when you can have free therapy until your child is 3. You guys are all there right now. We did everything we possibly could that they would let us do. And we were exhausted because we were taking Pace to therapy like 20 hours a week at least. And dragging Mary Margaret along with it. She was always looking through the observation window, and finding things for her to do. So we were like really heavy on the goldfish crackers. And I think the thing that stunned me the most was that our own parents, our own relatives, had a really hard time knowing where they fit in and what they could do. They were looking at this child who just had not turned out at all like they thought. And so it was hard for me to understand why they didn't just say, oh, we'll watch him and you guys go out and get a hamburger or whatever. They weren't able to say that. So to me, that was a storm cloud over our family. Like, well, who can we count on, And I have released that because now I understand, because people are always like shoving babies in my arms, and even if they're completely typical, I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. This is your child. But for them, I think, I had to forgive them and accept that they were going to give whatever they were going to give. So by the time Pace was 14, his grandpa was taking him on, what are those things, off-road terrain, what are they called? ATVs. He had him on an ATV, and this is a sensory child. And he's on an ATV, and all over, and I go, well, that's the love he's going to get from that person, And over time, people do find ways. They do find ways to fit into your life. So if anyone wants to share, that's fine. Does anyone want to share who their storm cloud is? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let's do Dawn's thing. Let's do the crumple thing. Okay, everybody crumple up that index card. Hold it real tight, right? Squeeze as hard as you can. Okay, and then Mary's going to give you a way to release that. Okay. So shall we do the one, let's do the one, how many cards did you give them?
Yeah, they've got enough.
Okay, great. All right, now that you're warmed up, think about something that you did that's really hard to forgive. Even in the last 24 hours, have you done something that you're embarrassed about or ashamed about or you wish you hadn't done? You lost control, anything goes with this one. Just one thing you're really disappointed with yourself for doing. You might have to go further back than 24 hours, because y'all are really cool. You probably haven't done anything really wrong for like a week, a month, 10 minutes. Thank you. Throw those bad guys away. Thank you. Real good. Did that feel a little good to release that? Yeah. Okay. So everybody got something that you have done that you might have felt like I really messed up? I didn't bring enough. I've been on a trip this week and I didn't bring enough clothes. I mean, it could be that light, or it could be I said something really unkind to somebody in the store because they were rushing me. Could be like that. Okay, anybody want to share? Okay.
I was in a store yesterday. And this guy was asking the attendant, where could he find a certain chair? And he said, bring to your computer thing, you only have one copy. He said, well, it's on the display up at the front. And he said, well, exactly where is it up on the display? And he started telling me, and kept going. He was still standing there. And I walked by and I said, I'm sure you would really like to help you find where that really is, wouldn't you? And then turned and walked off. Hopefully he changed his attitude about his client, but then later I started feeling like, that wasn't very nice.
We all do it. We all do it all the time. Okay, well, you can forgive yourself. Everybody say, turn to the next person at your table and just say, you are forgiven. Everybody forgiven? All right, let's move on. This is the part I love the most. Okay, take your last index card and write down the name of a person who always makes you feel good, or pretty much always does. Write down the name of, it could be a person who's passed away already. It could be your child. It could be the person who greeted you this morning. Just write down the name of somebody who really, really made you feel good. Is it hard to think of that person? Okay, good. So this is the part you're going to make and take. This card is the card you're going to take home with you. And you have this person's name. And you're going to remember that you have a person in your life who really loves you and who really thinks you're great. And you have done well. And you're going to do great things in the future. That's the person that you're going to call to mind as much as you can. And then think of something that they would typically say to you. For me, it would be my mom always said, "Oh, honey, you're good. You're really good." And my dad always said, and he's passed away too, he always said, on his deathbed, he said, "You always know just what to say." In a moment when I couldn't think of what to say. So who validates you? Who makes you feel that you are strong enough and you are uniquely qualified to take care of this child? Who gives you that? And what do they say? And you don't have to share. This is for you. We at time?
I think the last thing or just one nice thing to do for you.
Okay.
And I'll leave it at that.
Okay, this, I love that. Okay, so last and final. I challenge each one of you to think of one thing that you can do for yourself within the next 24 hours. Okay, it's not going to be win $1 million, okay? It's going to be something that's achievable in the next 24 hours. What are you going to do for yourself that will give you joy and allow you to put a marble in the jar? It's like a contract, y'all. I'm going to make you sign it, okay? This is a contract with yourself. I promise that I will. I'd love to hear these if you wanted to share them, but you don't have to. Do you want to share them? Do you need more time? Oh, yes, we've got one here. Come on, tell us just one thing.
I think we might have a brave soul over here.
Well, where's a brave soul over here?
So I'm in the process of moving to Century Q. And so my goal would be to unpack at least 3 boxes in the next 24 hours.
Yes, and you'll feel better. Yeah. Did you write it down? Please write it down, and please sign it. Actually, you could take a picture of it so it's on your phone, so you might see it again today when you check something, right?
Got one more brave
Oh, good.
I'm going to take my older kids swimming and actually smile and enjoy it.
That is awesome.
I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to.
I love that.
I'm not going to sit there and yell, like, don't run. I'm just going to let it go crazy and just enjoy myself.
Anything else? Because I'm feeling very inspired by these ideas.
Okay, one last one.
All right.
My daughter's going to be born next month. My goal is to not put me in doctor's I went to a doctor's office and thought it was there, and it was on a different building, so I'm shooting that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Enjoy and remember.
Well, I have the biggest treat I have that I'm going to take home with me is every single one of your faces feeling full of hope, feeling a little bit happier maybe, a little bit more comforted, I hope. I'm going to definitely tuck you all away in my heart, because this is the big benefit of being in this group, is I meet the most amazing people through this disability. It's a joy and a pleasure, and my treat for today will be a strawberry frosty at Wendy's. A small one. I'm making a large. I love the way he thinks. Okay, well, I think we're at time, and I thank you so much for being here today, and I want to meet with you down the road and hear how you're doing. But for today, you're doing great. You're good. You're really good.